Hey, my people. Hi, guys. My name is Rebecca. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for all of those that come back every single time. Those that watch my my videos, even though they're not a lot. I appreciate you so much, and yeah, thank you for the support. So as you can see from today's video, it's called How to Start a Business. As we all know, pretty much the majority of our life we use it looking for means to make ends meet, right? Which is why a lot of people are in school, which is why a lot of people will do so many things just to improve themselves and find a way of making money and meeting ends meet to support your family and yourself and all of that. So it is very, very important that you find a way to do that, you know. And today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. Definitely not the only way that you can use to make money, but it is one of the most efficient and effective ways to make a lot of money and build generational wealth if you succeed. According to statistics, I'll put a little bit of stats on top there. There is 21% of entrepreneurs who started their businesses because they were very passionate about the business idea. There is 70% of entrepreneurs who started their own businesses because they wanted to start a career or they wanted a lifestyle change. 43% of people who became entrepreneurs or they just wanted to be their own boss and escape a 9-to-5 job, and only 8% of entrepreneurs ever regretted starting a business. So I know that you, as you're watching this video, you have asked yourself this question so many times: how can I start a business? Or rather, you have already started a business and failed, or maybe you are looking to start another business. This is your video. Stay tuned and let's talk about this. So you might be asking yourself, what authority I have to be talking about starting a business and da-da-da. I definitely am not an expert, but I feel like I have had a little bit of experience and also education when it comes to entrepreneurship and business. I'm almost graduating with a business administration degree. I have run and failed maybe 5 businesses. I'm currently running a startup called Africana Store, and as my final year project, I also did, together with my team, of course, I also did an entrepreneurship project as my final year project, if that makes sense. I have also managed to acquire funding from 2 different organizations. I'll mention them, I'll leave them here. And I've also joined quite a few incubators by far that have helped me to have a better understanding of how businesses work and how they are started, in short. So yeah, you are not listening to an expert, but you're definitely listening to someone who has an experience and a little bit of education in this field. So if you are a college student, if you are just somebody who has had dreams to be an entrepreneur, to start their own business, I hope that this information that I'm about to give helps you somehow. So let's start. How can you start a business? How do you start an entrepreneurship project? Or rather, some people may call it a company. You know, obviously it's called a company when it's incorporated, but how do you get to a place where most of the richest people in the world currently obviously are entrepreneurs? How could that be you one day? So yeah, let's go. The first step to be an entrepreneur or to start a business is to figure out the first best way. I know there's so many ways, but to find a problem, right? So in your society where you are, or in the environment you're currently in, you look around and you see that there's a problem, and an attempt to solve that problem and bring a solution is what is called entrepreneurship. And people who do that are called entrepreneurs. So yeah, the first step is figuring out, identifying a problem, right? And you do that by ideating. We can go into that later. I can even create a new video on how to ideate to in order for you to come to a place where you are like, okay, this is the problem that is in my surrounding or in my environment that I would like to solve. So yeah, you ideate, you find a problem. So I'll also try to use a real business, a real functioning, successful business, so that you can sort of understand how these things work. So let's say, for example, Microsoft, right? Bill Gates and Alan, I forgot his other name. These are the founders of obviously one of the most successful companies in the world. They sat down and around, I think that was in the 1980s, right? They realized that there was a problem in the world whereby people were not efficient, right? Because the computers that were there at that time were too big, or they were too expensive for a normal human being like you and me to just like have it and use it. And so they went on a journey to sort of solve that problem. And hence they found a company that was providing portable microcomputers to people, to normal human individuals who could use the computer to do their work, process their data, keep the information, communicate with other people easily without having to maybe send letters or fax, or you can just imagine the world has no computers. Like I sometimes I imagine it and I cannot even fathom it. So these people identified a problem in society, and so solving that problem became an entrepreneurship project, right? In fact, they became entrepreneurs by solving that problem, because obviously entrepreneurs are people who solve problems in society. So yeah, if your first step in trying to start a business is to find a problem wherever you are. It could be something that is affecting you, it could be something that is affecting somebody, or it could be something that you have noticed is affecting a group of people. And that group of people in business are called a target market, right? So you find a problem that is affecting a target market, a specific group of people, and you attempt to solve the problem, right? And the second part of the second stage of starting a business is planning. So you have identified your problem, and you know, okay, this is the issue that people are facing, and I probably have a solution to how I'm going to do it. And how do you do it? So you come to start, you try to plan. And how you do that is obviously figure out a business plan. And the business plan is basically an outline of key aspects that will affect your business. And that includes trying to really, really, really look deep into your business. Do a lot of market research, obviously. But a business plan will include your target market. It will include your what is your unique selling position. Why should somebody buy from you rather than buying from somebody else? Why do we? So in the case of Microsoft, they had to figure out why the unique value proposition, right? Why a human being like me, a girl like me who is in college, would have to buy a computer from Microsoft rather than buying it from anybody else. So you realize that they tried to make sure that the products are so different and they are unique from any other business. So in your planning, you figure out your target audience. Who exactly are you targeting? You figure out your unique selling position, again, what makes you different from any other business. And then you try to figure out your marketing strategy. How are you going to sell your product? How are you going to take it to make sure that your target audience knows about your product, right? You talk about your financial projections. I'm so sorry if the language is too technical, but financial projections is basically like, is the business making money, right? Because apart from solving a problem, you also want to have a functioning business that is going to be profitable. And so financial projections is basically you trying to look at, okay, this is the amount of money that I have currently, and this is the amount of money that I'm going to use maybe to create my product. But if I sell it to the user or the customer at this price, am I going to get something? Am I going to get some profit, right? And so in your business plan, you try and make sure and have the closest estimates. In fact, it is usually good to overestimate than underestimate, because now you know the real risk involved. You know what is it that you will make, and after how long, because most businesses don't make profits up until maybe 2 years or maybe 1 year. So you want to make sure that all the time that you're, because let me tell you the truth, entrepreneurship is hard. Oh my God, you cannot do it if you have a soft heart, right? You also have to be somebody who takes a lot of risk. So you want to go into something knowing that, okay, this is something I'm suffering for it. Like, because eventually, especially when you're starting out, it's you and maybe your co-founders, or maybe just you mostly. And so you have to be on everything. So if you are just doing something without knowing in your heart, or without referring to your financial projections to see if this is something that's going to bring you profit, then why are you doing it? So yeah, with financial projections that show that, okay, this is something that is going to be profitable in the long run. I know that there are some other businesses whose main aim is not to make profit, like let's say non-profit, right? But I'm sure that the definition of that is also that when they make profits, in case they do make profits, they just reinvest it, right? So financial projections is definitely a part of the business plan, and you try to figure out your operation plan. So in case of Microsoft, they had to figure out how are we going to make a microcomputer and make sure that it reaches somebody who lives in, let's say, Swaziland, or somebody who lives in China, right? So how are you going to even produce the product? So all of those things are the things that you figure out. All of those things are the things that you need to figure out in trying to understand, to plan for a business in your business plan. Usually it's a document if your business is something that is official. Yeah, so that's about planning. Basically, you have a business plan. I think I will create a separate video on how to do a business plan and how a business plan looks like theoretically in the academic sense, and how it also looks like in real life, right? I think I tried to give an example of Microsoft, but I'll try and create another video on specifically creating your business plan. Another very important thing, which is the third thing that you need to figure out here, is legal considerations. So every land or every jurisdiction has specific rules when it comes to operating in an environment, or like operating a business or a company, right? So you need to find out, if I'm living in Ghana, what does Ghana say about starting a company or running this particular business? Because it could also be a different business, you don't know. So you have to be very, very, very informed about how the environment that you are in, the rules in the environment that you are in when it comes to legal implications of your business. I'll give an example. I wanted to register a business in Ghana, and I realized that their legal structure is so much that when you want to start a business as a foreigner, you need to have a specific amount of money. So we're talking 1 million US dollars, and obviously I did not have the money, so I could not register. And so this is very, very important to know that, okay, I am operating in this environment, and I need this amount, I need this amount of money to be able to register my business, or I need to have a specific number of board members, because that is also something that applies. And another fourth thing is another fourth thing is obviously funding. You cannot start a business without money, unless, I don't even think it's possible. You need money. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I cannot start a business because I have money. A lot of people are taken aback to start a business because they just simply do not have money. And so that is obviously because it's a very huge part of starting a business. But I do not think that, in as much as it's a huge requirement, it is also the first and foremost, if you actually want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start a business, is the will. When you have will, everything can mountains can move, right? Faith that will, if you actually want something to happen, all of these things can fall into place. But you need funding, and so you have to figure out, if I'm going to start a business, how am I going to fund my business? Am I going to borrow money from family and friends, or are they going to give me money? Do I have savings, or am I going to ask or apply for grants, or am I going to look for investors, and then I give them something in return of my business? So you really need to understand how this works. Really have to have an idea on how you're going to fund your business, because you're going to need money at some point. If you are doing a product, you're going to have to pay people to produce the product, or you're going to have to buy equipment to produce it if you're producing it by yourself. So obviously money is also a big issue. I'll create another video that talks about how you can find funding, and this includes let's say grants, how you can apply to grants, how you can find these grants, how you can maybe also convince investors to invest in your business. All of these tiny bits, I'll try my best and create a video on it as well. Yeah, and I think the final thing is building your brand. A good example is these big businesses, these big companies that we know, like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Apple, Microsoft, Google. The reason, excuse me, the reason why we most of the times even buy from these businesses is usually largely because of their brand, the brand that they have built over time, the idea that they have put in the minds of their customers about their business. I'll give an example. Apple, I saw the other day a video on the internet that says that Apple does not really sell phones or gadgets. What they sell is status. So their brand is connected to a level of bouginess or like status. If you have an Apple product, or if you have an iPhone, let's say for example, then you probably regarded as somebody who is, like maybe who has money, or somebody who, is cool and all that. So building a brand is very important because it separates you from so many other businesses that are similar or maybe are providing the same product as you are. But it also gives you an identity and a personality in the minds of a customer. So if I think of let's say Louis Vuitton, I'm thinking of class, I'm thinking of luxury. You get what I'm saying? If I'm thinking of let's say, again, Apple, I'm thinking, class, stuff like that. So this is the final stage, or sometimes it could even be the first stage. All of these stages are not in order. So this is a step where you try to understand what your brand represents and what you want it to represent in the mind of the customer. So it could be that, let's say you're a fashion brand. What do you want the customer to think about your clothes, right? What is it that you want your customer to immediately feel when they hear the name of your brand? Should they be, excited, or should they immediately think, oh, I need money to actually afford it? Should they immediately think, oh, this is something I can wear to church, or this is something I can wear to a bougie event? You get what I'm saying? So you have to think about that, because in today's world, there's so many businesses that will be similar to yours. The only thing that could differentiate you is your brand and what your product is related or is associated with. So mostly, this is a really huge marketing fact. If I find some statistics, I'll put as well, because I like talking things that have data. That when you have, the only way to sell your product well is to sell emotions. So again, as I said, Apple apparently does not sell the product itself, but it sells status, because in the minds of the customer, Apple is related to something that is bougie and class and high, the same thing with the brand, like let's say Nike. It will connect Nike to athleticism, right? Good health, stuff like that. You could connect a brand like, let's say Dior, to something like an emotion that sort of gets to a customer, and it makes them to buy or to want to be associated with a specific brand. So this was the final stage, even though I said a lot of things, and I'll just repeat these 5-6 stages that I said. If you want to start a business or if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to ideate, you need to identify a problem in your society or in your environment, and then you need to solve the problem. You need to know to find a solution. Mostly importantly, if it's even innovative, so much the better, right? Because we live in an innovative world. And the second step is to plan. Create a business plan about your business. Figure out who your customer is, your financial projections, where are you going to sell these things, your operation plan, right? How are you going to scale? Maybe you might not start thinking about scaling in the first stages, but you need to figure out this tiny every aspect of the business in the business plan, right? And then legal considerations. What is it going to take for you to operate legally in the environment that you are in, or the environment that you want to run your business? Because this is very, very important. You can create a good business with a good product, but if you're operating illegally in an environment and you are caught, it's over for you, dog. It's over. Funding. Figure out how are you going to fund your business. Are you going to invest, to look for investors? Are you going to look for grantors? I don't know if that's how they call them. Are you looking for friends and family to help you, or is it your own money, right? And final thing is building your brand. What kind of emotion and personality and does your brand represent? What does it mean? What does your brand name or your brand visibility mean to the customer, to your customer? So yeah, that is that. I do not want to say a lot of things because I feel like it's been so many minutes. But thank you so much for listening. Comment, like, and subscribe if this information has helped you. If you would want me to talk about anything related to business, entrepreneurship, I would do so much research for you guys so that you don't have to do the research, because I feel that everybody should be able to start something, I guess. Okay, maybe it's not for everyone, but those that want to or interested could also be helped or assisted. And also I am learning, right? So let me know what you would want to see, what kind of video you want to see next. And with that, I'm out. Bye.